coming right there.
Hey guys, this is Randall Rawhide Wurst for TacticalRifleman.com. Today we're going to talk about different methods of sharpening your blades, whether they're axes or they're knives. Real quick, I'm going to go over some stuff that you haven't seen before, then I'll go over what we have on the table. On your window blade, on your side windows, if you roll it halfway down, you can take your knife and the edge of that where it's rolled over, if you feel it, it's rough, and you can work your knife and sharpen your knife on the window blade, okay? So if you had nothing else that you're going to see here today, you can actually do something with sharpen your knife with your window on your vehicle. Now, another one that people don't think of that I want to cover real quick is the back of ceramic. It's ceramic. This is one of my special ceramic tools that I like, but it's made for sharpening. But I can sharpen my knife on the edge of the cup. Now my knives are sharp anyway, but you can use it. It's got an edge on it, and it will actually put an edge on the end of your knife. You have to watch when you use ceramic. You got to feel it that it doesn't turn and fold the lip over. You've got to be careful on that because ceramic will do that. Now, there are many different methods and techniques of doing knives. Let's take this one right here. This is a grinder. I would use this type of stuff for my kitchen knives. On this side is your grinding wheel. On this side is a rubber polishing, which will take the edge off. So it's got two different things with it. This is a rounding grinding wheel. And so what you've got to do is you don't face the blade down. The blade will be faced up when you're sharpening it. Okay, and then you've got to go to the other side. All right, same thing with this wheel thing. Never take your blade on any type of sanding wheel that you're going to use and have the blade facing down. It's going to keep rolling the edge on you. You're not going to get it off. Face your blade up when you're running on it, okay? So always have your blade up if you're using some type of belt. All right, so that's those three right there. This is a kit, and it comes in with these different stones. Now these, I think, have some diamond in them, but not like what I'm going to show you here. And they go in a kit, and you can put it on the edge of your knife and put it in there at an angle, and then your knife is held here, and it'll give you an exact edge. I don't use those. These are good stones that will do good work. I've been sharpening knives since I was a kid. I got told I had to learn how to break horses and shoe horses, and I was a guy that had to do all the sharpening of all the axes and stuff up on hunting camps. We did outfitting and guiding since 1921. So I like to feel the edge of it. I like to feel the edge of it. These are DMTs. This is two different types. These are small, little ones. These are larger ones that come into this holder. Now this has the same type of mechanism I can put in, but I don't use it. So you can see the two different sizes here. This one just comes with it by hand, but what I like is I always face my blade out. I don't turn it towards my stone. It's always away from it, and I can feel my edge. You've got to get used to doing that. It takes practice to do that, and that's how I do it. When I finish up, it'll be like one, and then I'm going to feel my edge. There we go. What I should have got in front of you that I don't have. When I want to test it, it's not on my hair. All my knives will cut my hair. That's not the test. Take, not toilet paper, what's that other stuff? Paper towels. Take paper towels, hold it, and if your knife cuts it, your knife is sharp. That's your real test, okay? Now, let's take larger knives. First of all, this is a custom made by Red River Tactical. They do a fantastic job. They do all my knife stuff. Now they made it for me so it'll fit on my belt, and it's at an angle because I carry it on this side. Phenomenal. It just snaps into it. I can do cheetah flips, hang upside down. It's not going to come out. This is one of my favorite knives for working. Now when I'm doing these, I have the long edge I have to hit, but this is made for chopping. It's not fine stuff. So I'm not going to put a real fine edge on it. In my truck, I carry this with 2 different grips. They're diamonds. I like diamonds. So this heavier one, because these are going to have little tiny chips on them. So when I'm doing them, they've got to be wet. I don't have it here being wet. I'm going to run it the whole length. This is one of the problems you have to do. You can go back and forth. If I'm doing it this way, then I'd come back, run it this way. Or if I have something that I can lock it down in, like a vise, okay? This bad boy is razor sharp, okay? Now, I would finish it off with a finer edge on there, but it's not gonna be as fine as this. I don't want the tips to break. I cut logs with it. I chop logs, I split logs, and I cut. The worst thing on your knife, on your big knives to do, is to cut not the stumps, the limbs that are sticking out, that are in the way. That'll damage a knife worse than anything. When I'm doing an axe that's fine like these, I could actually cut hair with either one of these. This is my baby. I love this thing. I'm torn between the East Wing one that is metal, because this puppy, you can see the angles here. This is made for splitting. It's lightweight. I love this, but it can't be used when you're around fires and do stuff with fires, because you can damage the handle. Freezing heat won't damage it, but fire will. So I don't know which I'd pick. I've been using this for probably 15 years. I love this. I can do a lot of splitting with it. But what I can't really do with this type of edge is why I like the Viking type, because now I can get my hand in there and I can do fine work with it. And I don't take the file like I would this tool. I'll get to it in a minute. I would never touch my good blades with my file. The only exception would be if I chipped it really bad. What I do is I take my fine file edge and I file straight down and take that off, because if I try to use it just coming off to the side, it's going to take me forever. So that's my technique. If I were to chip these really bad, I would just grind down the top till I got it down. I don't do that with these two. I don't hit rocks, okay? Don't hit rocks with your stuff. This can be pounded with, and this can be chopped and split stuff with. But if I'm really going to split stuff, I'm going to use this knife to do that, okay? I can split logs with it. Okay, now, I showed you these 2 different types. These are DMT diamonds. This one is Smith's, and I get it at Lowe's. This is Carl's unique one that he has. Now this has this ceramic like this. I'll get into this in a minute. Ceramic. If I turn it, I have an edge here that I can do fishing hooks on it, and sharpen fishing hooks. There's a little groove in it. You can't see it from there. There's a fine little one here. And then it has a leather strap like I have here that I can finish off, take burrs off with. And then these 2, I'm not going to take the time to flip them out, are different grit of diamond, just like these are. I don't want to get into it, but there are diamond ones like this, and that's what you can use to sharpen your knife with. But on this one, it's made to draw my knife on, okay? I don't get the same edge. One of the reasons I don't use them, nothing wrong with this, but the reason I use these types is so I can control and fill my edge. I've been doing this since I was like 12, 13 years old. I can feel my edge, and I can put the edge I want back on it. If I draw my knife on something like that, I will get one edge on one side and a different edge on the other. That's just me. So it depends on yourself. Now, this is ceramic, this is leather. This is old school. I grew up with this. When I'm done sharpening one of our knives, I draw it back on it to take the edges off of it, which these don't have any edges on. These are my knives, they're sharp. But this is one of my very favorite tools. I'll use this more than I will that leather strap. But what you have to be careful of, ceramic is hard, and it will keep folding your edge over. So when you do it, this is already sharp, and just me showing you, if I do it wrong, I'll fold an edge over. So I just go lightly on one edge, lightly on the other, take my thumb and my finger, I'll go back over that. If I had the paper towels, it would cut that baby in a heartbeat, okay? You have to be careful with ceramic. Ceramic will fold your edge over. Strapping will break it loose back and forth, and you'll break that edge off. But this takes it off really quick, but you have to be careful on how much pressure you use when you're doing it. All you're gonna do is keep folding an edge over. You don't want that. You feel it with your thumb. Your thumb is gonna run along the edge, and I'll feel if I have any edge on it. Don't run your finger down the blade. Run it down the edge of it, okay? Now, let's say I have the bigger tool, the bigger hatchets. I can lay this on the table like this, put this down, and like I said, on this one, I'm not gonna use my file. This is my fine splitting tool. I'm not gonna, unless it's damaged, it hit rocks, so I wouldn't use my file, but I'll use something like this. I'll do it like this. I'll feel my edge, and I'm gonna run it down. Whatever I go on one direction, I gotta go the other. The same amount. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna run my thumb along it. I don't feel any burr on it. That bad boy is sharp. I mean, it's sharp, okay? That's how I do my fine edges on tools like these. When I have something like this is called a Pulaski. I used to be a fireman for 8 years, and I did 4 years of wildland forest firefighting. If I don't have the vise to put it in, I'm going to take the axe and I'm going to slam it into a piece of wood. If it's a big enough log, it'll be at the edge of it. If it's a log I'm going to split, I'm going to slam it in the top of it, and then I'm going to flip it over. When it's flipped over, then that's when I can take my file, because it'll be at the proper angle, and I'm going to file it like this. That's what I'm going to use on this. I'll go one way, and then I'm going to go the other way, okay? That's what I use the file on. And on this edge, I do the same thing, but it's going to be sideways. I'll just have it sideways, but I'm always going to take it from, the blade will be in front. You can see where that is got rust on it. So I'm just going to take a couple swipes on it. Now it's going to break the heavier stuff off. Now, I would need to really put this in water. Now I'm going to take this. It's already sharpened, but I'm going to take that rust and stuff off of it. And I feel my edge. I know what that feels like. You've got to practice it so you know what it is. Then when I'm done with it, I'll run it the same edge. Run my thumb down the side. No burr. And that's about as sharp as I want this. You get this as sharp as you do these fine ones, what happens is they'll chip. This is made to pound, cut roots, and do different stuff. So it's not going to be as sharp and flat of edge as I'm going to have on my other tools. But that's how you would sharpen something this large. This is my favorite sharpening tool. If I had to pick one that I could pack with me, you can see how small it is, it'd be the Speedy Sharp, because I can do everything from an axe to any type of knife to a fine knife edge like is on this one. If I had to pick one, it would be this one. But there are multiple ways and multiple things that you can do. There's no exact one thing for anything, okay? You pick your tools for your job. One other thing I want to go over real fast with you, but I call my school the worst case scenario survival school for 2 reasons, because that's what we practice in special forces. And I was actually wounded in this arm and it got an infection, and I only had one hand. This is from Gerber. This is a one-hand operating leather or multi-tool. Now, it's got some really great stuff on it. I'm going to go over this real quick. One of the things I love is this arm that locks out and you can change your screwdriver tips. Yes, it has a knife blade, but one of the things I use a tremendous amount is my file. It's got a rasp for wood and a file on the other end. When you're making tools, it's extremely important. They have several other tools in here. One is an awl, which is important for making small things. And there's in here like a small wedge, like if you wanted to pull nails out or do some fine cutting with it. The only thing that I can say that they did that's not necessary is put the, I can't pull it out right now, but the sheep's foot knife blade on there. I don't need 2 knife blades. It's got one right here. That's all I need. That should have been a saw, okay? This is a great tool. I love it. It's a little heavy. Now what comes with it, and I don't because it's heavy, is a little package. It's in my urban survival bag, is multi-tools that fit in this. There's all kinds of multi-tools that fit in it, and then on my belt is a special little pouch for it. I don't personally carry it. It's in my bag because it adds too much weight. Excellent tool. Has one flaw that I found. I use my stuff all the time. The tips don't come together like they should. So if you're doing, like I did, staples, it doesn't pull staples out. It doesn't come together good enough to grab a staple. Other than that, I love this puppy. All right, that's it for today. I'm glad you guys are watching this. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you can make your comments. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on anything.